afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the LifeBalance 101 webinar. We'll get things started shortly as we still have a few folks trickling into the lobby here. So sit tight and we'll get things started in a minute or two. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the LifeBalance 101 webinar. My name is Jeremy Vandroff of Crescendo Consulting Group, and I'm excited to introduce today's webinar. A couple notes before we get started. As you see on the right-hand panel of your screen there, that GoToWebinar control panel, what you can do in there is use the chat feature to ask a question of myself or the presenter if you have any, and we'll make sure that can get answered. You can also minimize that bar using the orange arrow you see on the top right hand of your screen. So to get things started, I would like to introduce Sharon Ware of Community Health Options, who's got a few things to say. Sharon.
Great, thank you, Jeremy, and good afternoon, everyone. As Jeremy said, this is Sharon Ware, and on behalf of Community Health Options, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining today's webinar. Community Health Options is a nonprofit, consumer-operated, oriented health plan, and we've been in operation since January of 2014. We are a health insurance company licensed in Maine, and we offer qualified health plans to individuals and families who buy their insurance on their own, both on and off the marketplace. And we also offer employee benefits and help employers navigate the waters of offering employee benefits. Today's topic is an important one, and our speaker today will be addressing well-being and covering topics like healthy decision-making and choice, which create life and work balance. I'm going to let our speaker introduce herself or talk a little bit about herself personally and professionally. But before we get started, as Jeremy said, in the webinar today, we're going to be using the call-in number for audio. And we're going to be taking questions online during the session, but addressing them at the end of the presentation. If you'd like to make a comment, please use the question box that appears in the dialogue menu ribbon on the right side of your screen. And to navigate there towards the top of the ribbon, you'll see a small orange arrow that Jeremy referenced. If you click on this arrow to expand or collapse the menu as you need. Also, the slide deck from today's webinar will be sent to all registrants later this week. The webinar file for this and all of our sessions will be available online and on our website. Thank you again for joining us. And at this time, I'd like to pass the baton to Erin Kennedy, Senior Vice President of the LifeBalance program at LifeBalance, who will start our session and have a great conversation with us today.
Thank you so much, Sharon, and thank you everyone for being on the call. My name is Erin Kennedy, and I work for the LifeBalance program. We'll get into LifeBalance a little bit more as the presentation goes on, but our organization has been around for the past 22 years, and we really strive to help connect all individuals to life-enhancing experiences and help everyone to focus on their well-being, make good choices for themselves and their communities, and to really just enjoy life a little bit more. So I am sitting in the other Portland. I'm sitting in Portland, Oregon. Our organization is based here, and I'm actually a native resident of Kansas. And I moved out here about 11 years ago and have been working with LifeBalance ever since. So again, I'm really excited to join you guys today and discuss this very important topic of life balance and how that relates to well-being. So to get started, I just want to spend a moment touching base on the topic of well-being. As I mentioned, LifeBalance has been around for about 22 years, so we've seen a really drastic shift in the way people as individuals and organizations approach the topic of well-being. Had you asked us 10 years ago, the topic would have been called wellness. It would have had a much more singular focus. We would have been talking about making sure that people are exercising and maybe making some healthy choices in terms of what they're eating, but it really wasn't the same comprehensive view that we have today. And there are a lot of varied opinions about well-being, but really what we're seeing today is that focus on the total person, the entire package of well-being. We're seeing a shift to having this be a very individualized approach. And so today what I'm sharing with you on this slide is the 5 essential elements of well-being. And this is really derived from some research that Gallup has done, surveying people across the world, not just Americans, but across the world. And what they found is that there's these universal interconnected elements that humans in general associate with well-being and that are really important to focus on in terms of people's overall outlook on life. So there's a focus on career, financial, social, physical, and community. And so again, this is a much more expanded definition than we would have seen, say, a decade ago. And it's a really exciting way to approach well-being. Because it gives us a larger space to focus on and a lot of ways we can focus on sort of moving that needle and helping people find well-being rather than, maybe a more old-fashioned approach of telling everyone to eat their fruits and vegetables and make sure that they're, taking a brisk walk every day. So we're in a very exciting time in terms of well-being. Well-being has also become associated with the workplace much more closely than it had been in the past. When a decade ago, people were looking at wellness on a much more individual term. People were encouraged to move and to be active, but it wasn't something that a workplace was necessarily taking accountability for. There were some organizations, maybe some of the more disrupting organizations, who were leading the way and starting to think of well-being or wellness as a workplace matter. But what we've been finding is that there are a number of reasons that organizations need to focus on well-being, not least of which is the financial aspect. Employees with high well-being in all 5 of those elements we mentioned before, they save their company's money in healthcare costs. We find less turnover. They're less likely to seek out new employers or be looking for other opportunities. They are feeling more content and more satisfied with where they are when they're scoring high in these 5 elements of well-being. They also miss less work. They have higher customer ratings. We're seeing that they're able and willing to solve problems more quickly and better than those employees who aren't rating high in these 5 areas. So there's a very clear business case for a focus on well-being in the workplace. And this is something that we're continuing to get more and more data on. Again, 10 years ago, people were having a hard time talking about ROI in terms of well-being or wellness, and now we're seeing a lot more data out there in terms of productivity, in terms of employee turnover, surrounded by these 5 areas of well-being. So again, career, financial, social, physical, and community. So even though not all 5 of those elements readily appear in the workplace every day, the rating of an employee in terms of those 5 elements directly correlates with their performance in the workplace. So there's definitely a business case. We're also hearing a lot of organizations who associate well-being with their mission, vision, and values, with who they are as an organization, who they are as an employer. We're seeing well-being turn up a lot more in job postings, in human resource departments, really this commitment to encouraging their employees to find a life balance and to make sure that they're showing up at the office and they're also having time away from the office. And so it's becoming an integral component, which is a pretty drastic shift from, sort of the days of workaholics, which yes, still exist. Please don't get me wrong. There are plenty of people who put in plenty of hours, but it is a shift in where people are being allowed to say that this is important and my well-being is important. And so right now, what we're finding is that there's about 80% of employers who have some type of a well-being program in place. Those obviously vary widely, but it's definitely become the standard in the workplace, that there is some level of a commitment from an employer to an employee that they're supporting their well-being. And again, there's a very clear business case for it now, but there's also a lot of emotion tied to it, a lot of organizations who want to do the right thing and are really proud to be investing in their employees. And so we've seen a lot of growth in this area as well. So understanding sort of the comprehensive view of well-being, looking at why it matters in the workplace, and then taking a moment to focus on why well-being matters right now. So every year, the Gallup ShareCare Wellbeing Index is released, and it's been released since 2007. So we have really a decade of data here. And the last index score was released last year for 2017, and this was the first year that we saw a decline in the national well-being score. So we saw a significant decline from 62.1 to 61.5. You'll see that on this chart that's visible now, there were actually declines in 21 of the 50 states. And not a single state showed a statistically significant improvement compared to the previous year, which is unprecedented as well. So this is a major shift in the 10 years that they've been collecting this data. This is really the biggest shift. It's almost a U-turn in terms of where we're headed. And so it's particularly important right now to take a look at this well-being and say, okay, hold on, what's going on here? So if you'll notice Maine on this chart, Maine actually had previously in 2016 been in the number 4 spot in terms of well-being rankings of the states, and they dropped to 24th. The U.S. fell from number 12 overall to number 23 overall. So we're seeing a significant change, not worldwide, but focused specifically on the United States here. And so as employers, as folks who work with well-being related programs, this is a really important time for us to stop and take a breath and examine what's going on and pay more attention than we've ever paid in the past to what we can do to move the needle back in the direction that's helpful for our workforce, that helps us increase that productivity, that keeps our employees around longer, keeps them engaged, and makes them better at dealing with our customers and better at dealing with decision making and problem solving. So we really want to pause before this continues in that downward trend and see how we get back on track and moving upward again. So when they looked at this this report, they did find some common metrics that were associated with decline. So I've written all of them out here for you. Again, we know that correlation does not indicate causation, but these are things that were common across those 21 states. They were common across the United States as a whole when we looked at the decline. And so it was pretty fascinating to see that there were these few basic commonalities that seemed to be associated with the decline. a number of these things, you'll notice, there's an increase in clinical diagnosis of depression. So there are some very clear things that we can do as a country, as individuals, as an organization to start to address some of those things. I've bolded some of the pieces that I'd like to touch on today when we get into exactly what LifeBalance provides and how we could support well-being and help really work on turning this around. So the first one you'll see is a reduction in having someone who encourages you to be healthy. The next one, a drop in reports of liking what you do each day. And the third one, a decline in the percentage of respondents who report that they are reaching their goals. And so these, on a surface level, don't sound like major things. They're talking about pretty basic things. To think if we could maybe move the needle, we could potentially help the well-being of our organizations, of ourselves, of our country as a whole, by having support systems in place to help encourage well-being, to help find ways to have people like what they do every day, and to help people meet their goals. Those are on the surface pretty simple things that we can do to start moving this needle. So we'll dive into those a little bit more as we, again, as we get into LifeBalance here. But I wanted to bring those up because these metrics aren't, really drastic things. These are pretty basic things. These are things that we could even potentially guess that would impact someone's well-being. And so there's a lot we can do with potentially a very little investment to start to move the needle back in the right direction. The other thing I wanted to touch base on here is in terms of what we can do, is that there are 4 basic recommendations from Gallup on how we can start to focus on well-being within our organizations. And as a reminder here, we're not looking to take the United States to the #1 ranking in well-being on this phone call today. What we're looking for is incremental improvement. And so it starts with us as individuals and thinking of how we could move the needle and start to make things better for us. And then that expands into our families, into our organizations, into our communities. And that keeps the approach very individualized. It also focuses very clearly on that incremental improvement. We're not looking to have a drastic swing. We want small incremental improvements so that we can make adjustments as we move down, the spectrum of well-being or up the spectrum of well-being, so that these are sustainable changes, that they're changes that make sense as our ecosystem around us continues to evolve. And so we're really looking for the small incremental changes. So the recommendations from Gallup are to engage individuals and promote sustained lifestyle changes. So when we think about this in terms of a workplace, those are pretty loose terms. We're talking about engaging and promoting. We're not talking about making a choice for your employees. We're talking about making options available for them. Foster a culture of well-being. The same thing. We're not talking about, dictating what employees have to do or don't have to do, but we're talking about making sure that they have choices and that the culture in your organization or in your family or in your community really supports these choices so that it's easier for someone to make the right choice. Create an active living environment and making the healthy choice an easy choice, and then measure, benchmark, and identify opportunities. And this is really important because a lot of times, they say what gets measured gets done. And so if we make well-being our focus, we truly can move the needle. We can help people really succeed in those 5 components of well-being just by making some small changes, but we have to pay attention to it. We have to call it out. We have to make sure that we're letting our employees know what is available for them so that they're able to take advantage and they feel supported and encouraged to take advantage as well. And so with that, I would like to move into the component of the presentation a little bit more focused on LifeBalance and really discuss how LifeBalance can be part of the solution for well-being. So for those of you who aren't familiar, LifeBalance and Community Health Options have recently partnered, and this program is now available at no cost for any of the Community Health Options members who are on a group plan. So this is something that is embedded. But when we talk about, creating a culture of well-being and engaging individuals, this is something that we want to do everything we can to make sure that members of the plan are aware that this is available, so they have the option to utilize this program and make some easy, healthy choices that I'm fairly certain they'll be enjoying as well. So with that, I'm going to jump over to our demo site here. Oops, I apologize. So what you'll see here is the LifeBalance site. And you'll notice the first thing on the site is our tagline, which is never get so busy making a living that you never make a life. And that's really the premise behind our program. This program is a very, very simple well-being program that is designed to meet our members or community health option members of those group plans where they're at, and make it easier for them to connect to life-enhancing experiences. So these experiences are designed to be things that help with employees' well-being, to encourage them to go out and enjoy life a little bit more, to make the healthy choice, to spend some more time with family and friends, doing things that are relatively healthy, find outlets for stress. And so what we've done is very, very simple. We have built a network of vendors that include local businesses as well as national and online businesses that are focused on recreation, culture, wellness, and travel. And these businesses all offer exclusive discounts to those community health options group plan members. And they're all visible on the LifeBalance site for these members. They are available, again, to help members so that if a member wants to go get a new pair of running shoes and register for a 5K, they can get a discount on those opportunities. They're presented very easily for them, and they get a little special encouragement to go ahead and make that choice that they might have already been thinking about but needed that little extra boost to go ahead and do. And so that's really the premise behind the program. It hits on the financial aspect because, again, there's those discounts available. We work really hard to make this easy for individuals to use so that we eliminate some of those barriers that they may have to taking the step to making action. There's a community focus here because we focus very much on the local businesses that are right near your place of work, where you live, so that we're connecting with those small business owners and helping form those connections within the community. There's obviously the physical aspect. When we talk about the discount network, we have all kinds of discounts on gym memberships, on yoga classes, 5Ks, and running stores, rock climbing gyms. So we want to make sure that there are avenues for that physical well-being. And then it does touch on the social aspect as well, not nearly as clearly, but we do find that two things. This program is available to the health plan member as well as their family members. So the goal would be that if you're running a 5K, perhaps you invite, your spouse or one of your children to participate in that as well. We also find that we have a number of programs that allow for people to create different social networks. So if you are running a half marathon, perhaps you sign up for a training group through the LifeBalance site, and you can help build community in that way as well. So we know that those folks who you surround yourself with strongly influence the behaviors that you continue on with. So this is really important as well, to make sure that we're providing these outlets where these behaviors are encouraged by the peers that you'll be with when you're running or taking a yoga class or doing any of the activities available on the LifeBalance site. So with that, I'll go ahead and show you a little bit about how the LifeBalance site works. And again, if you have questions, please make sure you're asking them using the questions or the chat feature so that we can get those answered as well. It's always a little hard on these presentations without being able to hear from folks. So I'd love to hear your input or questions. So the LifeBalance site itself is very simple to use. We have a special landing page for Community Health Options members so that they can go in and create an account. On this demo, I've already created an account to go ahead and show you what it looks like, so we're already logged in here. When you get to the site, you'll notice on the home page we have some guides, some information on how you can find discounts. We also have some featured discounts available, so you can see some things that are nearby that might be of interest to you. On the homepage, there are two ways to find savings. We have a browse by interest path, and all of the discounts that we have available are broken up into categories. And so this browse by interest lets you go in and take a peek at what's available. It really separates things out quite a bit as well. You can dive in on a second level. So if you're interested in exercise, if that's something that's appealing to you, you can actually go in and sort the results by what type of exercise you're looking for. We've learned over the years that someone who is looking for a NIA class may not be the same person looking for a boot camp class. And so we want to make sure that we make it simple for folks and allow them to see the information that is really relevant to them. We also have the option for people to browse in by location. And so you can save locations. We have a system that actually utilizes the location where you're at currently to show you deals that are nearby. But let's just go ahead and go into near work here. When you browse in, you'll actually see the discounts that are available. You can hover over them and it'll show you what the discount is. You can save the discounts to a favorites area, which you would access by clicking on the little heart up here, so that they're readily available. We have a number of people who use discounts repeatedly, so it's really helpful for them to come back to the site and see those as well. And so you can see here, we'll go to the Lost Valley ski area. For most of the discounts, they're very simple to use. There's a little bit of information about the vendor. It shows you the discount that is available. And then for most of the vendors, you would actually just show a certificate when you're making your purchase. You can show the coupon on your phone. Because I'm presenting on a desktop here, it's showing that it's asking me if I wanted to print the coupon or email it to myself. But you can see the coupon here that prints. You just present that at the time of your purchase, and then you receive the discounted rate. And again, this is available to the member and their family members, so it's very valuable if you're taking the whole family skiing. 15% savings on a lift ticket certainly is very helpful there. And so that's the most common way that a member would utilize a discount on our site. We do have some vendors who offer seasonal discounts, and so we'll look at the main duck tours here. You can see just a few more of the other discounts that are available. But when we look at the main duck tours, it's telling us they're not currently available. This is because it's seasonal, and I don't think it'd be all that enjoyable to jump on a duck tour right now. So we do have a notify me button, and then we'll reach out to members when that seasonally relevant discount does become available. So it's a really nice engagement tool, because what we find is if someone comes to the site and they're interested, we want to make sure we remind them of this later so that they can come back to the site and utilize it. It's a nice way to encourage their well-being. They've expressed an interest, they've asked us to engage, and it's a great way for us to be that someone who encourages our members to be healthy. It also reminds them that, hey, they were interested in this. This is something they might like to do, and it gives them that opportunity to make today the day they do something that they really enjoy. And we also have a number of people who utilize our discounts around setting goals. So again, like running that 5K, participating in a Couch to 5K program. So if someone comes on the site in December and the Couch to 5K program isn't available until May, again, it's that nice reminder that, hey, you had expressed an interest in this, you have a goal around this, let us reach back out to you and let you know that it's now available. It's just that little nudge of encouragement that the member has asked for, to remind them what aspects of their well-being they've expressed an interest in committing to. So it's not overly complicated. It's certainly not rocket science, but it has a really big impact on the way our members are utilizing our program. Okay, we also have the option for members to search for a vendor specifically by name. So here we'll just go to the Calm app. This is one of our most popular discounts. We work with Calm, and they have a meditation app. So we have a discount on the subscription to this app. It's a great way to introduce folks to something new that maybe they haven't participated in before. If you're not familiar with meditation, there is some great research on meditation out there these days, and so we're seeing more and more people at least trying meditation out and seeing if it's something that would work for them. Again, a lot of value in the decision-making process, and really our ability to not operate in that primal hindbrain in that state of fight or flight. Meditation is really, really helpful for that. And so we're seeing a lot of our members express an interest in this. This is something that we're seeing a lot of the clients we work with promote very heavily. They're hearing an interest from their employees. They're also, seeing the value in meditation, and it's becoming a little bit trendy. People are back on the meditation bandwagon. And so this is something that's been really heavily utilized and promoted. And so something I wanted to show as well. For this particular discount, again, it's appearing this way because I'm on a desktop demoing, but you can access this from your phone as well to download the app at a discounted rate. And so there's just a special link that you'll use to do that. In terms of engagement, we also, so when folks come to the site for the first time, they have the option to opt into some newsletters that we send out, again, to be that constant reminder that there are healthy and exciting things out there available for them to do, that they can do these things at a lower cost than most people can do these things. It's that additional nudge in the right direction to make sure that our members feel supported in their personal well-being journey. We don't dictate what that looks like for them. We provide them with thousands of options and encourage them to choose, to try things out, if something isn't the right fit, to try something else out, to share this experience with their family, with their colleagues, to again make them feel really supported in that well-being journey. In addition to those newsletters, we also run contests throughout the year. So this is an example of a contest we ran last summer where we asked folks to submit pictures of themselves making their life balance. Just simply share their successes. Tell us what you did that helped with your well-being. And so we received thousands of pictures of people, and they all look very, very different in terms of what their well-being looks like. But these are all journeys that were supported by LifeBalance and our vendor network. So we have thousands of submissions. These are the pictures from our winners. The winners we give prizes to, and those prizes are used at our vendors. So you might receive a gift card for a free night's hotel stay to encourage you to, enjoy some time away and reconnect and rejuvenate. You might receive a gift certificate for skydiving. You could receive movie tickets, all kinds of things. But again, the focus being that we're encouraging more well-being with the prizes. We're not giving, cash that could be used on anything or a gift card at something unrelated. They're all tied back to that approach, that focus on well-being. So we run contests several times throughout the year to encourage our members to share their successes, to be able to win prizes, and to remind them to keep coming back to LifeBalance, because our goal is to have something for everyone every day of the year. We want to make sure that this isn't a one-time thing, but something that people continue to utilize. In addition, throughout the year, we provide guides that are available. So right now we have a fitness guide that's available for our members, because we have a lot of members who are setting New Year's resolutions. And so this is a really important time for that. This is our national fitness guide. So we have, different focus groups where our members live and work. Here's kind of the main section. This is not a comprehensive list, obviously, of the main discount network, but these are some of the featured vendors that we work with. So we're encouraging our members. We're, again, trying to meet them where they are. We're not trying to introduce something wildly different for them, but if it's around the first of the year and they're thinking of New Year's resolutions or thinking it might be a time to get back in shape and maybe start exercising again, what we want to make sure they know is that, hey, here's one more reason why that personal goal you're setting is going to be a little bit easier to reach. There's a discount where you're ready to go work out. There will be a contest associated where you could win a prize for working on this goal. And it's another way, another message, again, of us telling them, hey, we encourage your choice to be healthy. We're trying to help you focus on your well-being, and this is important, and we recognize it. So we're here. So in addition to the guides and the contests, we're available to provide all kinds of other resources. We work with a number of clients to provide them with very specific discounts. We know that there are a lot of efforts around well-being already in place. And so perhaps you have a well-being calendar where in February you focus on heart health and in March you focus on something else. We provide resources to support those initiatives by highlighting vendors that are appropriate. Sometimes we'll go out and secure new vendors based on the feedback that our clients are sharing with us. We do have a vendor suggestion form we encourage our members to use as well as our clients. But we ask people, we want to know, what discounts do you want to see? What would be meaningful for you? And we have a dedicated team who actually goes out to work and secure those discounts as well. So this is an evolutionary process. Again, we want to meet people where they are. If someone is wanting to join a specific gym that isn't in our network, we want to make sure we go out and establish that relationship and let the member know that that relationship was established so that we're really supporting their personal well-being journey. We don't want to force them to go somewhere else. We want to make sure we meet them where they are and again, be that support mechanism for them. And so with that really sums up what the LifeBalance program offers. Again, our focus and our commitment to moving that needle and well-being is really focused on being the person who encourages our members to be healthy, to being that mechanism that's consistently in front of them, making that healthy choice the easy choice. Making sure that our members have access to the things they like to do, they enjoy doing, and making it a little bit easier to do those things instead of just think about them, but relieving a little bit of the financial burden, making it a little bit extra special for them to go and do these things, and then helping our members meet their goals. And really providing that outlet to do that. Again, just removing some of those barriers that are there because we know it's hard. We're in the same boat as everyone else. We here at LifeBalance, the name of our organization is LifeBalance, and it's something that we have to consciously focus on, even though that's the company name, because it is tricky, and we do all work hard, and we have a variety of commitments outside of work that are very, very important. And so it is really, really important to have a support mechanism, something as simple as the LifeBalance program there to help move that needle on well-being and help really connect us all to those experiences and make our lives more enjoyable and happier and healthier. So with that, I will pause and see if we have any questions.
Yeah, I was just checking
Sharon, if there's any.
I was just checking the question box. Somebody raised their hand earlier, but I didn't get them to follow up with a question. But I will say that we have sometimes during these things, as the moderator, I can see if folks are attendant or not. We've had almost something like 95% attendance, which is really unique. So I think you've captivated everybody's attention, Anna.
Well, thank you. That's good. Yeah. You never know on a webinar, so I appreciate that.
Well, Aaron, this is Sharon. I do want to just ask you and maybe have you address the network, meaning as we're developing that network, how folks might email or suggest new vendors to the network. In particular, we want to make sure that our members who are represented throughout the state of Maine have good options.
Absolutely, sure. So, in building out the network, we started this process last fall, and we got some great feedback from the folks at Health Options, Sharon and her team, in suggesting vendors that would be really meaningful, because what we can all do Google searches, but we are based in Portland, Oregon, and so we want to make sure that we have all of the relevant Maine options and that we're not missing anything that's really important to our members in Maine. So we started the process that way. We do have a vendor suggestion form that is available for all members on our site. Once you logged into the site, it's under the support and feedback area at the bottom here on the footer. We also have our email address, our customer service email address that receives tons of suggestions, and that's just info@lifebalanceprogram.com. And I believe that is listed on the Health Options website, Sharon, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't remember off the top of my head all the text there. But we welcome suggestions. We also welcome any type of questions. We're happy to help members navigate the site, and find anything if they may be having any trouble at all. And so this process will be a constant process of growth for us. Businesses close, new businesses open. So just because our program and our partnership with Community Health Options has launched, that's fantastic. We're very excited to have members, utilizing these discounts. But the growth aspect of that network it's never done. There's no completion date on that. We have a commitment to continue to grow the network in Maine for the duration of our relationship in Maine.
Thank you, Erin.
Sure.
Yeah, that's important to know. And if anybody has any additional questions, you certainly can feel free to email myself or Erin. And what we're also going to do is share this slide deck with you if you'd like to revisit it or show it to some associates. And lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to have this entire webinar available for viewing on the Health Options website. So you can certainly keep your eyes peeled for all of those things because, that's really important. And I think we have one more question coming in. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything here.
Sure. And Jeremy, to kind of support that, if you are, if you do have access to the LifeBalance program and it is something you're looking to share with your employees, we have a number of resources that make that really easily. Community Health Options has some collateral that will make that easier that we can provide electronically, but we can also help with that messaging in any way. So if that's something that would be useful, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to provide you with a PowerPoint or some information about discounts that are nearby and how you might want to share those with your employees. So certainly let me know what I can do to help.
Yeah, and I did access this question. Somebody wants to know simply, what is the best way to bring this site to all employees?
Sure. So Sharon, I'm not sure I guess without knowing if this is a group that has Community Health Options or and what collateral has been sent to them already. I don't know if you want to answer that or.
Yeah, so for new employers joining our program, this information would be included in some of the member material as part of joining the program, but also the LifeBalance links and information is shared within the secure member portal. So as a member with us today, if you were to log into your secure member portal, you would have access to all of this information, including the link over to your site and information about the discounts and the various vendors.
Perfect. And and the other thing I was going to just say is that, If you do have a way that you're regularly communicating with employees and you want to let them know that all the Community Health Options members have access to this program, we can help provide anything that would be useful. If you want to feature a discount that's near your business or things like that, we can certainly help you get that messaging out as well. And Sharon and I can work together on any of that. So you're welcome to reach out for anything you might need that's a little more customized.
That's right.
Great. And that person has followed up. They are a CHO member, Sharon. So hopefully they and some other folks will check that out.
Perfect.
And if there are, like I said, I don't think there are any more questions, but there's plenty of follow-up to come. So please keep your eyes and ears peeled for all of that stuff. Erin, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, we usually just end by asking everybody just to take a moment and think about something for yourself that you want to do to improve your well-being, whether it's taking 5 minutes after this call because it ended a little bit earlier and leaving your door shut and just taking a moment to catch your breath and reset for the day, or you're going to go to exercise after work today. But just take a moment and think about that because you do have just a few minutes that we're giving you back today. And my challenge to each of you is to commit to doing something to make your life balance, because that's really where it starts. We need to lead by example in this. We need to find ways to do the things we enjoy and work really hard and do great at our jobs. And so we want to support you in that. And I hope that each of you today can come up with one way that you make your life balance.
Great. I know I certainly will. Take a couple minutes here as this webinar ends early. The sunshine is just starting to poke in my office, so I'm going to enjoy some of that weather. And like I said, folks, if you have any other questions or comments or would like to know additional information, you know how to reach Erin and myself, and you know where to find that with Health Options now. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. Everyone have a pleasant afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.